So the Indiana Pacers are on a prolonged hot streak right now that kind of is getting to the point where I think it's just the new normal again. They're 17-6. I do believe my math's not incorrect. Since just January 1st, they've been a consistently high level basketball for nearly 2 months now, and are playing really, really good basketball as a team. They're versatile defensively. They've been really impressive on that end of the court. Offensively, they've been much improved. Tyrese Halliburton still can be a little inconsistent, but was dominant tonight. 12 of 15, 7 of 9 from 3, 33 points, 11 assists, only 1 turnover. Really impressive numbers by a player who, when he's playing at his best, is a very impressive player, and a roster that is just playing really high level basketball. I will continue to defend the fact that the Thomas Bryant edition was one of the most important additions that like any team has made, at least a fringe edition, all year. Like, I truly believe that was one of the more impactful trades that we have heard. Was it a trade or a signing? I think they traded for him, right? I don't even remember. It was kind of a blip on the radar move at the time that it happened, but it's been a very impactful move for this Pacers team because they have legit center depth. They have a lot of versatility lineup wise. Miles Turner's an elite floor spacing big who shot 5 of 5 from 3 tonight, has been super efficient from 3 all season. They're not bad at all defensively since the return of Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nembhard, both of whom are dogs on the defensive end of the court. There is just a lot to like about this Pacers team right now, and I think it's worth talking about more. So with that being said, over their last 23 games, like I said, they have gone from 16-18 to 33-24, a 17-6 stretch that puts them right among the best teams in basketball since that point. And that's a pretty sustained hot stretch at this point. Standings wise, they're 4th seed in the East. Now they have serious competition from both Milwaukee and Detroit for that 4th seed. And I think holding on to that is going to be an extremely crucial aspect to their goals of making some sort of run in the playoffs, because I think home court advantage in the first round could make a first round series against a Milwaukee or Detroit a significantly easier thing. Now, regardless, as the 4th seed, you're going to have to see Cleveland in the second round. And that's not what I would consider a favorable matchup for Indiana this year. But is it a team that I could see them beating? Despite how good Cleveland has been, there's a part of me that the answer is kind of yes. I don't know. Y'all might not agree with me on that one, but I just don't. They were so good in the playoffs last year, and their offense has such a high level top gear that they can get to, and they're so much better defensively this year than I thought they would be. I don't see why the answer is no, is basically what I'll say. I mean, Halliburton has been the 2nd highest scorer on the team, but he's only averaging 18 and 9, but I will say his efficiency has gone way up after a really rough start to the year. He's up to 37% from 3, 56.5% from 2. Overall, an extremely efficient player, really since the first month or 2 of the season as a whole. He does not turn the ball over either. A better than 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio is really elite, and it's something that you just don't see very much. In all honesty, he's been really, really good for quite a while now, and honestly, it's extremely impressive to see. The return of Aaron Nesmith, I think, was huge. Another extremely efficient player who shoots the 3 ball at a high level, 38% from 3, and he's a dog, high intensity, high level defender as well. Andrew Nembhard, same story there, not as efficient shooting the ball by any means this season, but another high effort, high intensity defensive guy who's averaging almost five assists a game to less than 2 turnovers. So a 2.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio from your secondary ball handler, again, is a really impressive thing to have, and it's a valuable thing to have. Miles Turner, again, the floor spacing from the center is useful as all get out. Having a 39% from 3 type of guy is extremely useful, and Pascal Siakam having the best shooting season of his career as well at over 40% from 3. Same story there. Like, I just think they have a lot of versatility and a lot of talent across the board and have just been really, really impressive. And even Thomas Bryant, I mean, like I said, he's shooting 37% from 3 and 67% from 2 as a Pacer. He has been awesome as their backup center and has really found himself as an absolutely key rotation piece for this team on a night-to-night basis, and something that they just did not have at all after James Wiseman and Isaiah Jackson both tore their Achilles in the first couple weeks of the season. They didn't have a backup center. Now they have that in Thomas Bryant. Jarris Walker hasn't played as much as of late, but he's shooting 37% from 3. He's another guy who shows some real promise defensively, and honestly, some real promise as a playmaker as well, which is pretty impressive as well, I think. I think he's a guy who could really turn into a useful player down the road. I'm kind of surprised he plays as little as he does at times, but I won't sit here and act like I watch every Pacers game, so I don't get the full Jarris Walker experience. But I like this roster. I love the depth. I think they're extremely talented and extremely versatile, and I think they could space the floor at a high level no matter what guys they have on the court. And the most impressive thing is, if you look at their stats up until January 1st, they were 16 and 18. They had the 11th best offensive rating in the league, which is fine, but it's nothing earth-shattering by any means, at a 112.7. And defensively, they were one of the worst teams in basketball, 8th worst defensive rating in basketball, leading to a negative 2.6 net rating that put them right around the bottom 10 teams in the sport. Not great by any means, but since that point, they've been awesome, and they deserve a lot of credit. A 117.5 offensive rating, top 5 in basketball since that point. Defensive rating, even more impressive, honestly, a 111.8, top 7 in basketball over a pretty significant sample size, more than a quarter of the season, 23 games. Like, that's not a small sample size, putting their net rating at a 5.8 over that stretch, which is, again, top 7 in basketball with all your contenders: the Nuggets, the Cavs, the Thunder, the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Pistons, who are playing awesome basketball. I don't want to get that twisted by any means. They've been awesome too. Feels like they're an outlier there, but they've been amazing recently as well. They've played great basketball for quite a while, so they deserve a ton of credit as well. Got a whole Pistons video that I dropped earlier today. Y'all should go watch, because I've been really impressed by them too. And that race for that 4 seed is going to be really fun to see how it goes in the Eastern Conference as it comes down to the stretch, because Milwaukee's 1 game back, as is Detroit. The thing about Milwaukee is, fully healthy, they might be the best of all these teams, but they haven't been fully healthy. They haven't been consistent, and they have by far the hardest remaining schedule of any team, not just of these 3, but in the entire Eastern Conference. Whereas Detroit and Indiana both have relatively easy schedules and very similar schedules in terms of strength of schedule for the rest of the season. It's going to be an interesting race between those 3 teams to see who ends up with the 4 seed, who ends up with the 5 seed, and who ends up with the 6 seed, because I think the Pacers could absolutely win a series over either of those teams, but having home court advantage, I think, would be a crucial part in trying to do so. And with that being said, it is worth keeping in mind that realistically, all 3 of those teams are second-tier teams in the East. You have your top seed of the Cavs, the Celtics, and maybe the Knicks on some nights, although they haven't been great against the best teams in basketball by any means themselves. But I just realistically think that this team, while probably not positioned to make a deep run in the playoffs unless they really surprise people in the second round, look to be more what they were expected to be this season, which is a surefire playoff team, a consistent contender-ish type squad in the Eastern Conference that continues to build off of the success of last year. And they're doing that this year as well. Now, the thing that is going to be important for them to try to make that jump, whether it's this season or in the future, to real contender, is going to be either Tyrese Halliburton has to be a slightly higher level scorer, somebody like a Ben Mathurin has to make a jump that he hasn't really made efficiency wise here in his 3rd season. The confidence is there, but the production isn't always, or maybe they need to add one more piece. And I don't know how they're going to do that right now, but I don't think the ceiling of this team as currently constructed is extremely high, but I do think the floor of the team as it constructed is really pretty high, because they don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't turn the ball over. They're extremely efficient. They shoot the ball well, pretty close to across the board in terms of everybody in their rotation, and they're athletic. They play hard. They're fun to watch. They seem to like each other. They're a good, successful, fun team, and I'm excited to see if it's something that they can sustain, because if they can, they'll be a threat in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Will they win a round? If I had to guess right now, I'd lean towards yes, but I don't know. Will they win multiple rounds? Again, probably would lean no, but we saw last year, it's certainly possible. And you never know what happens. They have some playoff experience now. They're a good, well-rounded team that's been playing high-level basketball now for a while. We'll see what happens. Certainly not giving up on them, I'll say that. So I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Be back with more NBA content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.